So hello everybody. I'm delighted to be asked to speak here at your program's coordinator meeting, and my name is Rachel Farrell, and I am a former teacher of Maths, Business Studies and Economics in Sacred Heart School in Tullamore, County Offaly. So I'm an Offaly woman, and so I'm now working in the School of Education UCD. And part of my role is working with schools on outreach initiatives. So I'm going to talk to you about a range of those initiatives today, and hopefully some of them might take your interest, and if so, I'd be very happy to follow up with you as required. So I just put up this little poem as maybe a stimulus. So part of today's presentation is going to give you ideas of things that might be stimulus for things you might include in your projects. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard of a poet called Michael Rosen, but he wrote a poem called Catch Up, and it's all about the pandemic and where, you know, if we're obsessed with trying to get children to catch up with what they've missed in school, we might be missing the point that they've learned an awful lot during the pandemic, because, as John Dewey would say, a lot of life experience is education too. So a lot of this is where we are looking at. A lot of the projects that we're engaged in UCD is looking at where you can bring life experience into projects and make education very engaging for students. So that's just one little poem that might be a stimulus even for your students. My research is based on working in partnership with schools and with teachers like yourselves. So everything that I'm doing with you is fully supported by the School of Education in UCD, and it's underpinned by research around that education, and the way that education is going is by partnership between universities and teachers and industry. So that's part of the reason why a lot of my work centres around outreach programmes. Within my research, I'm looking at partnerships within university, with schools, with professional development services like PDST, JCT, and if you're watching this as a recording later, you can stop to look at these. I'm not going to dwell too long now, but for each of the areas where there's partnership, I am mapping out practical ways of working with each partner so that the research I'm doing is manifest in schools in very practical ways. I want my research to be something that's a lived experience of people, not just something that you read about in articles, but it's actually impacting on schools and working with teachers like yourselves. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of those projects. So one of them is very close to my heart because I would have worked in Leaving Cert Applied when I was teaching. And one of my colleagues in PDST, Anthony Coyne, would have been very committed to Leaving Cert Applied as well. And we have worked together on a project called Digital Storytelling. So we basically have been working with 10 schools where students have researched ideas for their practical achievement tasks. So anybody here who is an LCA program coordinator, you're very familiar with the practical achievement task. So we kept the digital storytelling project in Leaving Cert Applied just centered around the practical achievement task for last year. And we had three students were awarded a prize, and we made an online award ceremony that you can view there. It's about 20 to 30 minutes long. And the winners project was from a school in Port Charrington, and the student's name is Rachel Lawless. So if you go to the link above that picture there, we have all of the samples of the various projects, and back here in the link here in the award ceremony, you can see the top 3 projects. So they're very simple. They were done using Adobe Spark, which is a free online tool. And the students just used pictures and sounds and their pictures and music and their own voice as a narrative to go through what they learned doing their personal reflection task. So that's one area that we'd like to work with yourselves, if any of your schools that have Leaving Cert Applied, and if you have teachers that are interested in working with a group of students. We're expanding the project this year to go beyond the personal reflection task and to look at other areas in Leaving Cert Applied. So one of those areas, this is a picture of Shona O'Callaghan, who's a Leaving Cert Applied. I'm not sure if Sean is a coordinator or just working in Leaving Cert Applied in Oaklands, that's one of the LOETB schools, and the principal there and the student. And Shona does a lot of work with us now in UCD, where she gives inputs on just teaching Leaving Cert, various different elements of Leaving Cert Applied. So if there's anybody out there listening to this and they're interested in doing some teaching with us on the PME programme, giving guest lectures online for various elements of Leaving Cert Applied, feel free to get in touch. We'd love to talk to you. So the other areas that we're expanding the digital storytelling project to is looking at how you can implement the Sustainable Development Goals in subjects. So we have lovely examples that we did with 2 schools in Dublin that were in transition year. And if you go to the link above there, you'll see the samples of the top 3 projects. And again, it was very simple, where students took a Sustainable Development Goal and did about a 3-minute video clip based on images, music, and their own voice with a narrative, just around things that resonate with them around the Sustainable Development Goals. So again, we're aiming that at transition year students. If you want to get inspiration and ideas, the Sustainable Development Goal website is there, global. If you want ideas around teaching lesson plans, there's a lovely website there called The World's Largest. So some very interesting resources that are all very accessible and free to download. We're also encouraging that students, that if they do nice digital stories that are about the Sustainable Development Goals that will help in creating a better future, there is a Government of Ireland initiative where you can submit your ideas to creating our future. So that while students are creating engaging projects, they actually can be contributing to a national conversation on creating a better future. I mentioned already that we have 2 people from LOETB schools working with us on the programme. We're very happy if other people are interested in doing some work with us, specifically around Leaving Cert Applied. If you want to contact Shona O'Callaghan if you're interested in doing any work around Leaving Cert Applied, and if you're interested in further information around the digital storytelling, your contact person there is Frances Palmer. So they're both the contact names for each of those areas. We also like to work with schools around presenting projects at FAILCHA. So we had 5 schools working with us this year, where obviously FAILCHA wasn't a live event, it was an online event, but we did create showcases, video showcases, and they're all on the Teaching Council website. So if anybody gets involved with us around digital storytelling or other projects I'm going to speak about now very briefly, we'd be very happy to help you submit the projects to FAILCHA. And also, while the deadline has expired this year, I think for next year, you might consider that there is a bursary scheme called the John Coulihan bursary scheme for teachers to engage in research. And if any of you are interested in doing anything like that, we'd be very happy to support you in putting those applications together. And I've applied myself to be the researcher in residence with the Teaching Council. I don't know if I've been successful in that endeavour, but if I am, I imagine that there'll be support for me to support teachers like yourselves if you do want to engage in any research projects. And it doesn't have to be, research can sometimes have a certain connotation, but the type of research I like to do is it's called education design-based research, where you try interesting things in schools and you report back how it went. That's the kind of research I like to do. So if anybody's interested in engaging in projects, then showcasing at FAILCHA, there are other possibilities. So for anyone here I know there's a lot of career guidance people might be watching this. We're very interested in working with career guidance teachers around the role of women in STEM subjects and STEM areas. So one very interesting link I've made recently is it's called Fit Women Like STEM, and it's looking at specifically girls looking at apprenticeships in cyber security. So that's just something that might be of interest to anyone who's a career guidance. We are going to work with these partners on, or we could even suggest that if some of the students are doing their personal reflection task for LCA, they could review careers in cybersecurity, and particularly careers, in STEM areas. We also are doing a lot of work around girls in STEM and the EDI in STEM, which is equality, diversity and inclusion in STEM. We were unsuccessful with a bid recently for an SFI grant. We're hoping to go for that again in the spring. But regardless if we get grants or not, we are working with various partners on various projects around girls in STEM. And we have a couple of projects going where we have given out kits of VR kits at schools to try and engage girls in science, trying to immerse them in science through very creative ways. And also the digital storytelling has come in here as well, where students have created digital stories on women in STEM. So there's a lot of ideas there on that website as well. I'll come back to that in a second. So we're doing a lot of work around virtual reality. So in STEM subjects, but beyond that as well, where we're working with Mark Baldwin, who is a teacher who has his own business now in VR. And we're working with our own student teachers and cooperating teachers in developing VR resources for every subject. So we have some examples here around languages, but we're going to develop them for every single subject. So if you have a particular interest in virtual reality, Mark will come to school. I'll chat with Declan. Mark will come down to your school. He'll bring his VR kit. He'll train up whoever wants to use it, and the kit will be left there. UCD will cover the cost of all of that. And then, if it's something you want to do more long term, then we can see what projects we can get funded to help schools. We've helped 5 schools in the Lee Shoffley area already, primary and post-primary, and they're doing very interesting things around using VR in post-primary, and we're linking with primary as well with 6th class, so we kind of have a primary, post-primary initiative going as well. If anybody is interested in looking more into VR, there's a free online course at that link that is kind of a broad look at VR, the research and why it's important and how you can do it. And if you go back to this link here, that's a course that was designed by Mark as well, specifically for PME students and cooperating teachers around VR. So there's 2 distinct courses around VR that are free, but they are linked to a Scotland's initiative where we're working with various partners that we're trying to just learn from all different projects to make VR a reality in schools, an affordable reality in schools. We're also working with Microsoft on Minecraft. There's a lot out there from Minecraft in primary school. We are going to be the post-primary base for doing that with Microsoft. 6 teachers in Dublin working on a project already where they're building Minecraft games, etc., or immersive experiences for a variety of subjects, including CSPE, geography, history, English, classical studies. And we're going to work with Mark Baldwin then that if students create an immersive experience for Minecraft, he is going to put that into the VR platform so they'll be able to play their own games through virtual reality. So that's a very exciting cutting edge project, and we're really very keen to get more schools involved in that. And we'll get the licenses funded, and any equipment you might need, we're going to try and get that funded. And that's really the main ones. I'll finish up on this one. We are also working with the Department of the Environment and Communications and Climate around developing a short course, a junior cycle short course for cybersecurity. But I believe that the short course that we have designed is something that could be adapted for age and stage appropriate use in transition year and probably in the Leaving Cert Applied new ICT specifications. So we're very keen to get more teachers involved, and we are looking for funding that if teachers get involved and create resources and help us to build up a bank of resources, that we want the teachers to get paid for doing that. So if anybody's any interest whatsoever in the whole cyber security issues that are going on and would like to make a contribution to designing resources, we'd be very interested to hear from you on that. And that's really I'll finish on this, Declan, if that's all right. Young Economist of the Year is an initiative that has been running for a number of years. I know Tullamore College have always been very successful in their projects, and we just would like to bring this to the attention of teachers in all the LOETB schools. And we are very keen to include all students that are interested in issues around climate change and even the health, the pandemic. There's lots of things that are real life issues that relate to economics. So in junior cycle business, it's very applicable. And then, of course, if you don't have Leaving Cert, if you don't have economics in your schools, you're not precluded from entering this. A lot of our students are, a lot of entrants are junior cycle business students, and a lot of schools put on transition year modules around economic concepts and things like that. So it's a very inclusive competition, and there's a range of different types of projects. That's the website if you want to have a look at it. And we are recommending resources like this from the Economics Foundation, which could be used for a range of different subjects, not just for economics, where they do lovely weekly or monthly areas called Topical Talk. And the most recent one there was looking at greener choices for food. So we're trying to tie in again, looking at how economics can play a role in fulfilling the various sustainable development goals. And one there is looking at different choices for food, because the choice we make around what we eat is affecting the environment as well as a lot of other things. So that's really it, Declan. You know, I don't want to take up too much time, so if you're happy enough with that, will I leave it there?